The whole town came to dance. Drums beat, women sang, children clapped their hands. Cynthia wore white and her smile was brighter than the morning sun. She thought she has entered a new chapter of joy. But soon the marks began to fall. At first, Kelvin would sit in the shop with her, pretending to help. But he would complain, "Why are you always arranging these goods? Why do you waste time with these customers? Close the shop early, come and cook for me." Cynthia laughed it off. "This shop feeds us. If I close early, we will have less money." But Kelvin frowned. "Are you saying I cannot provide? Are you insulting me?" His words caught her. She tried to explain, but it twisted everything. Before long, she found herself apologizing, even when she had done nothing wrong. Kelvin began to take money from the shop's earnings. At first, small amounts, then larger ones. "I will use this to invest," he would say, but no business ever grew from the money. Instead, he returned with nothing, only anger and excuses. When Cynthia asked questions, Kelvin would glare at her. "So you do not trust your husband? You are proud because you have little money. Without me, you are nothing." The words stung. Cynthia, who once walked with her head high, began to shrink. She no longer felt proud of her work. Still, she stayed silent, thinking patience would change him. But Kelvin grew worse. He did not like Cynthia visiting her old friends. "They put nonsense in your head," he said. Slowly, Cynthia became more and more alone. When her auntie came to visit and asked if she was happy, Cynthia forced a smile and said, "I am fine." Inside, she was breaking. The community saw some signs. Once at a gathering, Kelvin shouted at Cynthia because she disagreed with him about the taste of the palm wine. He shouted so loud that the drummers stopped beating their drums. Cynthia's cheek burned with shame, but Kelvin walked away as if he had won a great battle. At night, Cynthia cried silently. She remembered the days when her shop was busy, when she laughed with customers and felt strong. Now Kelvin had made her close the shop. He said a good wife should stay at home. "I will provide," but he provided nothing. Soon her savings were gone. The shop stood empty, its doors shut like a bird cage with no song. One day, Cynthia found courage to say, "Kelvin, I want to reopen my shop. I cannot sit here with nothing. Let me work." Kelvin's eyes turned dark. "So you want the world to laugh at me, eh? You want them to say your wife fits you? Never. You will sit here and you will do as I say." His voice thundered, and Cynthia felt fear. She said no more. But fear was not the only thing growing inside her. Quietly, a small flame of anger burned. She began to see Kelvin clearly, not as the man of her dreams, but as a man who has trapped her. She wondered, was this love? Was this marriage? Yet the teachings of her elders rang in her head. A woman must endure. Marriage is not sweet every day. So Cynthia endured. Every day she grew thinner, her laughter fading, her eyes dull. People in the market whispered, "What has happened to Cynthia? She used to shine like the morning star." One evening, Kelvin returned drunk. He threw open the door and shouted, "Cook for me." Cynthia had already cooked, but Kelvin pushed the food aside, saying it was tasteless. When she protested, his hand flew across her cheek. The sound echoed in the small room. Cynthia's heart broke into pieces. She looked at the man she once loved and saw only a stranger. That night, she could not sleep. She remembered her shop, her freedom, her dreams. She remembered the girl who had once walked with pride. Tears washed her face. She made a choice. She whispered to herself, "I cannot die here. I must live again." The next morning, when Kelvin left the house, Cynthia packed a small bag. She took nothing else, for nothing else mattered. She walked to her auntie's home in the next village. Her auntie, shocked by her bruises and her thin face, held her close. "My child, you are saved now," she said. Cynthia stayed there, slowly gathering her strength. It was not easy. She had no money, no shop, and her heart was wounded. But with time, she began to help her auntie sell vegetables in the market. Little by little, she found herself again. Some days she still cried, but other days she smiled. She learned a hard way. Love without respect is poison. The story of Cynthia spread. Mothers told their daughters, Do not marry only for sweet words. Watch a man's action, not just his dreams. Elders shook their heads and say, a woman must not give away all her strength to a man who will only break her. As for Kelvin, he wandered from one failed plan to another. People no longer listened to his smooth words. Alone and bitter, he had no one to blame but himself. Cynthia never became rich. She found peace, and peace was worth more than gold. She started again, slowly rebuilding her life. She learned to love herself first, to value her own voice, and though her scars remained, they became her strength. Moral of the story: a home without respect is no home at all. A woman's strength is not to be wasted on a man who only seeks to destroy her. Wealth or poverty, love must be built on kindness, trust, and honor. Without this, marriage becomes a prison. And so the tale of Cynthia and Kelvin lives on. A warning to young women: do not let the brightness of your future be swallowed by the darkness of another's pride.